Hi, I'm Daniel, the roast master at Mission Roaster, and I was going to give whoever's out there watching a little tour of what we do here, roasting some coffee. So here you see we have our wide selection of green beans from all over the world. Right now, I was going to roast some Tanzanian peaberry. So this coffee comes from Tanzania, and the peaberry is a smaller pod. And if you look at the beans, you can see that they're kind of undersized. So we're going to get a really concentrated flavor out of this. Citrusy, aromatic, great morning cup of coffee. And our roaster has the capacity to do 25 pounds of roast. This right here is around 18 pounds. So I'm going to bring it over to the roaster here. This is our hopper. Green goes in up top. Turn the gas on. And I'm going to light the flame underneath the barrel. And this is our very high-tech heat measuring device. And it tells me what the temperature is inside of the drum here. For this particular coffee, I like to roast it at a little bit lower temperature. So I'm going to drop the beans at around 410 degrees. Which we're rapidly approaching. So now we have the green beans rotating inside the drum with the heat source on the bottom. And I'm going to watch this. It's going to take me about 18 minutes. And we're going to see a final roast. So now we're starting to get what's called the first crack with our roasting cycle. So this is when the bean's been heated up to a point where its shell cracks off. There's two cracks. So the first one is the outside layer, and the second one's going to be the inside layer. So it's kind of quiet, but usually you can hear the cracking noise. It sounds a little bit like popcorn that's been left in the microwave too long. So now I'm just going to continue, and now I'm watching the roast like a hawk to make sure that I don't get any over roasting or anything bad goes on. So I'm going to be checking the heat with my flame, and I'm going to be trying to keep the heat and the airflow at a good level so I can finish up the roast in a solid way. And I can actually check the beans right here as they're coming out. So the temperature is rising. It dropped down to about 340 degrees when I dropped the beans into the drum. It's since come up to, right now it's at 435. This roast will probably get right under 450 degrees before I drop them. And I'm going to drop them from here into the cooling chamber. And we have a little rotary arm that's going to spin around and help cool down the beans so they don't continue to roast. Smell is a very important part of roasting. You can actually smell when the bean gets to the point that you want it. It'll have a certain fullness and aroma to it, and that's one of the ways that you can tell that it's done instead of just looking at the beans. So I just raised the temperature a little bit. So I'm going to try to finish off this roast with a lot of heat and bring it right under that 450 degrees. And in a minute here, we're starting to hear the second crack. So the beans are again cracking and shedding their coat. And to get the best out of this bean, I'm going to try to drop it right before the second crack ends. So you can, if you can hear it now, all the beans inside the drum are cracking. They're getting that smell. It is a very pleasing aroma. One I never get sick of. So I'm going to start the drum rotating. Drop the beans out. And I try, this is all the chaff around the edge that's come off the shell of the bean. So I don't want that getting into the coffee. So now I'm just going to let the beans cool, and they're going to spin around in this drum until they're cool to the touch. And they're very hot right now. So you can see how the oils of the beans have kind of come out. This is more of a darker roast for this coffee, but one that I believe brings out the fullness and the richness. So I also, after I roast, I do a quick overlay of the beans and just try to see if there are any major roast imperfections. This looks like a pretty good roast. So right now, I'm going to relax and let this guy do its thing, and the beans are going to cool. And I'm going to come back in maybe about 10 to 15 minutes when the beans are cool to the touch, and I'm going to drop the beans out of the cooling bed. Pretty good. So the beans are now cool to the touch, so I can grab them without hurting myself, which means that they're now ready to come out. So what I'm going to do is one of these. And this is our high-tech containment device. Keeps all of our coffee fresh and delicious. And you can see too, now that the bean is cooled down a little bit, it's got a really nice color to it. Great smell. Not as good smelling as when it comes out, but this is the final product. So we went from the green to the roasted coffee to the containment device. And so what I'm going to do to speed up this loose process is I'm going to manually rotate the arm. Make sure I get all the beans. I don't want any beans from roast mixing together unless I want them to. So I try to make sure and get all the beans out of this. So now the roaster is ready for the next batch of coffee. But for now, I'm going to bring this coffee over here. And I'm going to grab a bag. Grab a stamp. Make my mark. And here you have some of our delicious coffee. So from the bags over there to the bag here, and possibly to your doorstep.